Howdy folks, Kirk and Jason here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Happy New Year's. It is 2026. 2025 is long gone. Hope it stays long gone. It was a slow year for us. Everybody else too, no doubt. Maybe the tariffs, maybe everybody just stopped doing things. Anyhow, we got a lot of work coming up. We got a lot coming up where we'll show you how to do something. Question, who knows what this wood-lath is called? See this wood-lath called here when I was working union forever ago, 45 years ago. Oh man, Whitey, he knew everything. He would say, that's redwood lath, redwood wood-lath, or it is cedar wood-lath. I was like, what's the difference? He said, well, the difference is this is resistant to moisture. It's kind of what they put on the mud sills. It's redwood. So this redwood lath right here, it was invented, actually manufactured in, where the heck was that? Chicago, Illinois. They had a patent on it. And it was, back then it was named a sheathing lath. And what it achieved was, sometimes it had paper in the back of it, tar paper, but it was a tongue and groove. It was designed for shear strength. Today, they use plywood, but all the systems I've ever seen in my 40 years of doing this stuff, I'd say this this particular redwood sheeting is quite possibly the best that ever was designed. In fact, they should go back to it. Why? Because today they use 2 layers of paper and then they have wire over that, like what we have here, the wire mesh. But the plywood is 1/2 inch. This is 1 inch. If done correctly, it adds a lot of structural strength to any house. In fact, in the 1800s, they did schools and hospitals and a lot of custom homes with this stuff, especially in Michigan, where it's really cold. It's designed for cold weather, damp weather. We're in California right now. Is this really necessary here? Well, 100 years ago, they must have thought so, because it is here. What Jay did is he came and removed all this because it was buckling a little bit. One thing about this Byrkit's lath, or you can call it continuous board lath, old wood lath is just what I called it. I'd call it cedar wood lath. Oh man, Whitey would say, don't call it cedar, it's redwood. And I thought, what's that difference? It's wood lath. Anyway, explain a little bit about this particular wood lath, because, again, in my opinion, it's the best they've ever come up with. Why they still don't use it, I don't know. Usually it lasts forever, guys. It lasts hundreds of years. The only thing that beats this up is if water gets in the wood. Water goes in there and it stays behind it for years. It'll sometimes bubble it. But other than that, this stuff lasts forever. And it's tied into the foundation. It's basically a tongue and groove, kind of like a shiplap, where it goes over itself and covers the mud sill, which the mud sill is about right here. It covers the mud sill. That's when the stucco was taken down to the foundation. Harmless. Today we put weep screeds in, but with this particular system, the idea is you just want to keep it. You have to decide whether or not code and cosmetics are important. Everywhere around the house, it's down to the foundation. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. I see it on hundreds of homes. This system is so well that they actually named a street after it in Illinois, Chicago. They named a street after it because all the homes were done with this Byrkit's sheathing lath. So anytime you got this, guys, you know you had quality work done to your house. Because it does, if maintained, and I mean the window sills and all that painted so no water can get in, it'll last hundreds of years. Again, I think they should go back to this because it's stronger than half-inch plywood. This is 1-inch redwood. Bugs are not attracted to it. It's wet plywood. It'll expand on you guys. So there's a lot of benefits to any of you guys got a house with this wood-lath. Count your blessings. What we're doing here today, again, Jay removed a bunch of stucco. If you have buckling stucco, guys, don't put stucco over stucco, because if the underneath fails, the top fails. That's just common sense. But that's what they did here. So Jay and Lou removed all that crap yesterday. And we're just here putting it back together. It's kind of like on insides. We did a house a couple years ago that we videoed, an interior ceiling. And the people said, well, gee, we just had it done 6 months ago. And what they had done was they had a failing plaster ceiling. They added another inch to this failing plaster ceiling. What did that do? Instead of removing it and fixing the culprit, they added a lot more weight. Well, that ceiling fell in their living room and just missed some kids by a few inches. So anyway, with this lath, if it ever fails, you got to know how to repair it. We've done well over 1,000 videos. We have about 40 videos of different wood lath like this right here. I'll put some of them in the description not to bore you guys, but you can go in the description and see a whole bunch of different ways to put weep screeds on this, and or a lot of other methods with this wood, because we replace it quite often. Give me a little bit of mud, Lou. All right, guys. What I'm doing now is we're going close to 3 inches thick here. I'm putting a lot underneath here because this tends to drop out if you have a whole bunch of cement there because of gravity. What the folks did before us is their fix was to add, they put chicken wire, they put this stucco netting on top of the existing stucco. Big no-no. You're not supposed to do that. If you're going to go stucco over stucco, you put this blue stuff, that's weldcrete. That is designed to adhere new stucco to a painted surface. They don't ever wire over. You just never, ever, ever, ever wire over stucco or brick or block. You just get a cementitious bond. That means pressure wash it, apply the bonding agent, and now you're ready. You don't have to wire over it. And if you did, that would do more damage than good, because now you're disrupting the stucco underneath. You got to pound nails. You don't even know where the studs are. So you got to, for them to put this new old wire in, it was interesting. I thought, wow, these guys just had a clue of what they were doing. So you guys got questions, you can always email me photographs or Jay. I'll answer the questions or nothing. It's not a big deal for me. I know the answers to all this stuff. Email me a picture and I'll explain for you guys how you should do it or how you should have your contractor do it. Now my email is kirkgiordano@gmail.com. Jay's is Jason J. Giordano @gmail.com. Just email us a picture and we'll explain for you how to do it. Sometimes we just go tell you a cost too. Of course, we often have to come out and make sure there's nothing weird going on, because This was as weird as it gets. We have folks here who were before us, and again, they had an idea. They knew enough to think they were right, but not enough to know they were wrong. That's why they got us here now. So we're putting it very thick. We're going close to 2 to 3 inches thick. We're going to let this set. We'll talk about stuff while we let it set. Kidding, guys. Once we get this first coat on, we're going to scratch it, and probably it's going to take at least an hour or two. It's 40 degrees, guys. It's cold out here. It's a perfect wood for this kind of, it's designed for cold and wet weather. Well, we're in California. We don't get too much cold and wet weather here. But today, sure enough, it is cold. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and we got a few other things we're doing. So we're going to let this, we're not going to watch this dry. We're going to go do other things. We'll come back to this and then match this finish. All right, folks, we are about to wrap it up. Fortunately, we were able to get here today. They did some kind of a raid. We went by Home Depot. They had police cars everywhere, SWAT team members. It's about to kick Lou out. Say, take him. They had the streets blocked off, and they were firing the guns. I thought, man, we're in Oakland. It's turning into a war zone. Anyway, off of that and back onto this. I'm glad we were able to get out here. It's about 40 degrees. We are about 2 to 3 inches thick here in order to match what we took off and their boo-boos that they made. Here's what most folks don't understand, and it's really difficult to understand, is when to float it. This is a sponge float. It brings out the sand or the aggregate. Now, we have 2 coats, and it's accelerated. But even with accelerators in 40-degree weather, it's hard to set. But I'll give you an idea. This is what I usually push in with my fingers to tell if it's ready to float. Bring the sand out to match this finish. Okay, there you can see how it is. Kirk's the best. You can see how soft it is. If it turns white like this, I've lost it. I wouldn't be able to float it. So now that I just jacked up my own work, I got to push hard and go up and cover it. And you see, the more water, the more grain comes out. If I put less water, less grain, but we want to match this finish. In fact, I was joking with the people here. I said, do you notice the difference between this right here and this? And I said, not really. I said, this is done with a 2-coat system, like our 2-coat system. But we did a color coat last week, which we're going to post next week. And we happen to have this, this is 1620 heavy sand. So I'm going to show you guys how we could match it even tighter. But then when I asked them over here, I said, do you notice the patchwork here? I don't know if you could squeeze in here, Jay. But they said, man, we've been here all these years. We've never noticed that patch. Most folks don't even see patchwork. But that one there is the most noticeable. I thought, wow, you've never seen that one. Anyway, there's a lot of patchwork around here. And it's a 2-coat system. Is this acceptable? Yes, it's acceptable for a 2-coat system. However, if I wanted to get a little tighter, which we do, we pride ourselves on getting a little tighter, a little closer than the next person. And we already had this color on the truck. Either we throw it away or I use it somewhere. This is a good place. My snow jacket for today. Now, another thing too, this is still soft because it's 3 inches thick and it's about 40 degrees. Here's what you can do, guys. Barely touch it. Just barely touch it. And when I say barely touch it, I mean pull it off the hook tight. Because if I put it too tight, it's going to indent what we already did. So Jay and I decided to already do this because, again, the material's on the truck. And when you use a color coat finish, there's no color. We didn't put color in here, but the aggregate is uniform. So all I'm doing now is getting the aggregate, the sand, uniform, guys. I'm going to hit this one more just to prove a point here, guys, that We could match it with 2 coats. We could match it with 1. But if you really want to get even tighter than the last fellas, that's why people call us, because we can get it tight as one can get it. Okay, so just to prove a point, I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to float this. Again, what does floating mean? I use a sponge float. That's why we call floated. But what I'm going to actually do is give it a sand finish. The float is going to bring out the aggregate in this. And I'll show you what I'm referring to. And then Jay's going to put that camera down, and he's going to finish spreading this. And I'm simply going to float it. Okay, now that that's done like that, we take sponge float, green sponge float, guys. Tap out some of the water. Tap it out in the inner bucket because we don't want this bent the wrong way. We want a curve. Sometimes I'll just take it and do like so. Now we tap out the water. Now we just lightly hit it. We bring out some of the aggregate to match the finish that these guys originally had when they built the house. With the joints, we used a little bit more water. Okay. Now, when the sponge float fills up with stucco, we tap it out. Tap it out, get the grains or the granules out of the sponge float. Otherwise, it'll drag and defeat the whole purpose of matching. Tap it. Okay, now I'm just going to feather in one more time the joint. Most of you watching probably thought, I have no idea what he's talking about, but we get a lot of stucco guys on our channel, a lot of newbies, apprentices, and they say, how do you do this? How do you do that? So we have so many videos, 1,000 between what anybody's looking for. All you do is type in our channel, how to float something, how to lath it, how to put a weave screed in, how to do anything. And a video will pop up like magic and show you exactly how we do it. And we do it right, because if it's not done right, we have to come back and do it right again the second time, but this time at no cost. That is the way to really instill learning. If you make a mistake, you redo it, you will remember the next time of how to do it properly. There we go. Now they're going to paint this. The color coat, this is a color coat material. This color coat material I'm putting on is just for getting it a little tighter with uniform sand, because we can get it just better than the last guy, but we wanted we want it on the money as close as possible. Anyway, my name is Kirk. Jason's on the camera. He's going to finish spreading this out. When these folks come home, they're going to say, whoa, you painted it too? We're going to tell them it's just the white that's in the color coat. Anyhow, guys, here's to 2026. Hopefully it's a lot better than 25. We thank you guys for watching, and as usual, we'll see you on the next one.
All right, folks, as always, we thank you all for watching. We really enjoy your questions and comments. If there's anything you want to learn about, please let us know in the comments. And as always, from the entire Giordano family,
we'll see you on the next one.
Nailed it.